Passed the exam. Whew. Hey guys, it's Rob. I just wanted to check in and let you know that I did take my South Carolina state exam and my national exam for real estate, and I'm happy to report that I passed. Unfortunately, they don't tell you what your score is, but I can honestly say that in the two exams, there were very few questions where I really felt uncomfortable in the sense that maybe I wasn't 100% sure what the answer was. So I'm just going to go over that process real quick with everybody. As I said last time, there were a few products that I used to study for the exam. The main one being Aceable Agent as well. I neglected to mention last time that when I bought the Aceable Agent package, they had a test prep package that you could order that included Prep Agent, which is a piece of software that I would highly recommend. I have links for discount codes below in the description for both of those products. I also used CompuCram and the night before the exam. It was probably a little bit of overkill, but I'll be honest with you, I was very nervous about taking the test. I wanted to make sure I passed because I'm not working right now. And I didn't want to waste a lot of time, having to retake the test and pay for the exam over again. So I think those products worked well for me, and I'm going to review each one of them in detail. But as I said, I went to the South Carolina LLR website, put in my application, got my background check taken care of, was made eligible to take the exam, went to PSI's website, scheduled the exam, and I'm going to just give you a warning. The people there who worked for PSI were very nice, but there was a lot going on. There was a lot of people there. It's a small area. They're in a multi-tenant building, and they don't have a whole lot of space. There were two people working who were taking care of probably 15 or more people who were ready to take the exam. So I had to wait a little bit, and it was kind of disorganized. They had us, lift up our sleeves, lift up our pants to see our legs, because I guess in the past they've had people write things on their legs and arms or whatever. So they really thoroughly made sure that we didn't have a capacity to cheat. So if you're planning on going in there, with nefarious ideas around trying to give yourself an unfair advantage, I would think again, because they did everything but strip search us. So I sat for the exam. It was really kind of uncomfortable. There was a lot of people in there. We had to wear masks, so I had an N95 mask on. It was kind of warm in the room. You're sitting in these little cubicles with walls, and the computer is kind of an older computer with an older monitor, and the text was really small, and I wear bifocals, and I'm trying to squint to read the questions, and my breath is fogging up the glasses. So it was fun. From what I remember, there was 45 questions for the state. The state I thought was fairly tame as far as the exam went. I didn't think it was hard at all. 5 of those questions, if I'm not mistaken, are experimental. So I don't know which 5 didn't count towards my score. But I probably only used about 20 minutes to take that exam, and I think they give you double that or more. The national was, it figures.
2 hours later.
Yeah, sorry. A broker called to get an appointment. I've been applying to brokers. So as I was saying, the national exam was about 90 questions, I believe. I can't remember. I think 10 of those are experimental, if I'm not mistaken, between 8 and 10. I thought the national exam was pretty tame as well, but it's just long, and I got a lot of math questions. I felt pretty prepared for it though, and I think it was relatively straightforward. So if you take any of these exam prep testing software and You take all of their practice exams. If you can pass that, I'm pretty sure you can pass the exam. There is one thing that I would just let you know about, because it wasn't in any of the training that I took, and it wasn't in any of the exam prep software that I took. There is an actual amortization table taped to the table, the desk at the testing center. And there are questions that ask you to refer to the amortization table. So if you've never seen an amortization table, typically it's got interest rates down the left-hand side, and then the terms of years for a mortgage at the top, and then you use a cross-reference to see what the monthly payment would be per $1,000 of loan. Get familiar with it. You don't have to be an expert, but you do have to be able to look at a question where they give you, a term and a interest rate and a loan amount, and you have to figure out, what the monthly payment would be, the monthly interest payment. So just be careful. Get familiar. It was very straightforward. I wasn't prepared for it at all, and I was able to get through the questions, and I think I answered them correctly. But just something to be aware of, because there was no mention of that anywhere, how to read an amortization table. I would say this, it was very nerve-wracking too, because you take the South Carolina exam first and you end that test. They do not tell you what you got, so they don't tell you if you passed or failed. Then you take the national exam, and when you get to the end of that, they don't tell you if you passed or failed. You had to take a 10 or 12 question survey at the end, and then once you took the survey, they presented you with both scores, and it's just a pass or fail. Print those out. The desk print those out for you. There's one for each exam, and they'll also give you another form. And that form, you need to hang on to it because that's where it's your application for a license, and you need to get your sponsoring broker to sign it. So what happens is, believe it or not, you got to take your 2 test sheets that show you passed the exam, that application, and for me, I have to include the certificate for the advanced principles of real estate, which is the 30-hour post-licensing course that I'm taking now. And I have to mail that, mail to the South Carolina LLR for them to issue my license, along with a check for, I believe, $50. So that's kind of disappointing. But I am meeting with brokers. I have meetings already set up with Berkshire Hathaway, Allen Tate, and Weichert, who just called me. So I'm going to be meeting with the BICs, or broker in charges, from those organizations at the local offices around where I live. I have a couple of meetings with some local, I would say unaffiliated with a franchise type brokerages, smaller local brokerages. We'll see how that goes. And I'm also still working on getting my financial situation squared away for the business. I think I mentioned in the last video that I formed a single member LLC for the liability protection and the potential tax benefits at some point. I am working with my bank to get a business checking account and a business credit card set up. I want to be able to keep everything separate, and I want to be able to pay for my real estate expenses with a business credit card. I want to get paid from the broker via my LLC into a business bank account, and then pay myself from that bank account. I want to keep everything separate. I think that's a big mistake that a lot of real estate agents make, is they mingle their personal and business funds, and it just makes everything harder. It's bad enough I'm going to have to, file taxes as a self-employed small business owner, but to be able to keep everything separate and just run reports and instantly know what was for the business and what wasn't is going to make my life a lot easier. And there is that liability protection, along with E&O insurance, in the sue happy country of the USA. Those things are important. Okay. So that's where we're at. I'm in the process of meeting with brokers, getting my financial situation set. I got to order a new laptop. I'm trying to wait for the business credit card to do that. And I'll update you guys when I do decide which brokerage that I go with. And I'll tell you who it is, and I'll tell you why I picked them. And, and in 6 months, I'll make a video how I made a great choice or how I made a terrible choice. But for now, just, stay tuned, click the like button, click the subscribe button, because I'm going to have reviews of all the products that I use to pass the exam. I'm going to have, some detailed information around how to pick a broker, or at least what worked for me. And I'm also going to do some day in the life of a new agent who has a relatively small sphere of influence, has never done this before, reluctantly kicking and screaming, went back on Facebook because I need to have, a social media presence in order to be able to drum up business from people that I know and some of them whom I love. So stay tuned, and there'll be more coming. Thanks for tuning in, and good luck if you're studying for your real estate exam.